All right, back again. This is the Divinity and Happy Show.
Oprah. Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about Uganda, try to educate you a little bit about Uganda, and we're going to talk about culture.
Uganda is located in East Africa and it's bordered by Kenya, um, by Sudan, Tanzania, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
And it's in the
Yeah.
East Africa. We're not by Nigeria, that's in the West, okay? We're not by South Africa,
And we're not in the central, but we're in the east.
the East side. AGYA operates in Kampala, which is the capital city. There's actually a big problem of what we're calling um, urbanization. People who are moving from their villages to the city because they think they're going to find jobs here or that there are better opportunities here. And when they get here, they actually realize that there's hardly any space. Yeah. So people are living on top of each other. You'll find multiple people and children living in a room the size of this classroom. And also there's not enough facilities, to cater for them. So
And it has caused a lot of like slum areas in Kampala because most of the people are in Kampala and they're so crowded they have no space.
Talking about Uganda's population, out of the 35 million people, almost 60% are under the age of 18. An even bigger percentage is under the age of 25, which we still consider youth. So Uganda has a very young population. There's many reasons for that, but the vast majority of Ugandans are youth. So from AGYA's perspective, we need places like this where youth can come and develop their life skills, their communication skills, all of that. So that's what we're trying to provide. In the US, we have so many opportunities. We have YMCAs, there's community centers on every corner. You even find community centers that are empty. But in Uganda, they are few and far in between, and most of them are not free. Everything we do at AGYA is free. Nobody has to pay, which is very, very different from the few community centers that do exist from the way they operate. Even if they're like run by a church, you still have to pay.
You have to pay. And there is a lot of like ties on it. You're in this organization. You have to be at our church every Sunday. You have to do these kind of things, which we don't have in AGYA.
Yeah, we really try to give the youth freedom. We don't want to force them to be here. If they don't want to be here, we don't want them to be here. But we always do have people here, just that right now kids are back in school. So in the evenings, this place will be like full of youth. And on the weekends, it's also usually very, very active.
In Uganda, mostly, if you're married, you're respected as a married person and you have high respect from everybody, being called a wife of so and so. So that's something different, changing your name to another person's name. But still, even if you're married, you're with someone, you're married to someone, and you don't have kids, you're not considered as a full woman. So you have to have kids to be called a full woman and to have all the respect you should have in Uganda. And
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Does that even apply to... Okay, so let's say I'm like 35, I'm married, but I don't have kids. And then there's like a 20-year-old girl who is not married but has a kid. Is she considered a woman and I'm not?
Yeah, and she's more respected than you.
You heard it here first, people. You heard it here first. What about the idea, like, okay, a lot of American women choose to, not a lot, but an increasing number are choosing to have kids later, or some people don't even want to have kids at all. Like, I have friends from college who are not even interested in giving birth to children. They just want to focus on their career, get financially stable, and be successful. Is that something that Ugandans will accept or understand?
I think it will be a very difficult thing for Ugandans to understand that, because virtually if you're a man in Uganda and you don't have a son, you're not a full man. Like, you're just a man, you're not respected. Because here, having a son, it's something so big. Someone who is going to be your successor, someone who's going to be your heir when you die. So if you don't have that son, things are different. Even your family, even everyone is there, like, on your head. So if you're married to a woman who doesn't have kids, then you have a problem with that woman. So,
and not only not having kids, not having a son adds another element of whatever we can call this, patriarchy, perhaps.
maybe something like that.
Okay. What about this whole thing of like twins and then women who are barren? Like, talk about that in like relation to each other.
So, if you're a woman and you give birth to twins, you're considered to be so blessed and you're respected highly. And there is a name that they call you. They don't call you your name, they call you Nalongo, which means you have twins. So your husband is called Salongo and the woman is called Nalongo because you're blessed and you have two kids. But if you're barren and you don't give birth to any kid, you're considered to be cursed. In Uganda, most of the people are considered to be cursed, which I don't think it's right to bestow someone because that's how the way God created someone. So if I don't give birth, I'm not cursed. That's the way it was. But that's how we take it in Uganda. You cursed because you don't give birth to kids.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a question that I think maybe a lot of the mentors are thinking right now. It's also something that I thought about when I learned all this like 3 years ago. Poverty is such a big issue in Uganda.
Yeah.
Why would someone who maybe is living in a house with multiple people who probably can't even afford to send kids to school, why would they want to give birth to twins? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why is like respect tied to having children? I get maybe like in the old days, like your kids are gonna like work the land or something like that. But like in modern times, it seems like it really doesn't make sense practically.
To that question, one thing. If you get married in Uganda, there is one thing that we know. You have to get kids because that's part of your job.
But what if you don't have money? But what if you don't have money to take care of them?
Money will come later. That's how we say it. So having kids doesn't mean you're poor, you're what, so you have to have kids. You're married, and that is your job as a woman married to someone. So
yikes. Okay, let's talk about the average woman. What is she expected to do like on a daily basis? The average married woman, what is she expected to do on a daily basis?
If you're a married woman and you're a housewife, that means you're not working, you don't have a job, and most of the population in Uganda of women are housewives. So you're supposed to cook for the husband. You're supposed to clean the house, clean the dishes, fetch water, make sure the house is clean, wash the clothes. Those are the things that you have to do every day if you're a housewoman.
Okay, just to further contextualize this for you guys, many women who live in the city cook on charcoal stoves, isn't it?
Yeah.
They don't have like gas stoves like most of us use, or even electric stoves, because some people don't have electricity. So they cook on charcoal stoves, and maybe we'll do a video of what the charcoal stoves look like for those of you who've never seen them, because I mean, I know you've seen like a barbecue, but like imagine cooking everything like on that, not just like roasting meat, but like cooking everything on it. So to prepare a charcoal stove can take quite a lot of time. They have to fetch water. Most people don't just have running water in the house. They have to go and fetch water. They have to go to the market to buy the food. They have to prepare the charcoal stove. And an average meal of like rice and beans, or what people call posho, which is like this really nasty thing that I don't like, but it's like a staple food. It can take about 3 to 4 hours to cook that if you're cooking for like 4 or 5 people.
So actually, if you're cooking beans, it can take you even 6 hours if you're cooking beans.
Think about that. Not just cooking it, you know? It's not like you just go in the fridge and you pull out whatever you're cooking. No, you have to go to the market because most people don't have refrigerators.
Yeah.
So they can't store food. And even those of us who do have refrigerators, like I have a fridge in my house, but electricity goes out like multiple times a day. So like whatever you have in the fridge still might spoil because like electricity went out. That's something I didn't get until like I got a fridge this year. So from the time of starting to prepare, going to fetch water, walking to the well to fetch water, even think about that labor. You're fetching like liters of water and they carry it on their head or whatever. Can take 3 to 6 hours, as Happy has said. And you're expected to prepare lunch and dinner for your family.
Yeah.
So that's just the average day of a housewife. Now, there are women who work. Maybe they work in the market or if they're educated, they might work in an office. But still, even if you work outside of the home, you're still expected to do these things.
Yes.
Even me, I'm expected to prepare dinner after working like 8-9 hours a day in my office. So I have to go home and cook. So those who can afford it do what? They hire maids or house help, which at first I rejected this idea because in America I think is very like only rich people have maids, like super rich people. But in Uganda, even a family that's not considered rich will have a maid.
Polygamy, it still exists to some people, though it's not so common as it was back in the days, having very many wives.